Hello students, this is Swati Gupta presenting a video in front of you to explain the first unit of microeconomics, that is introduction. Students, as we have told you that in economics subject we are going to study two books. First is statistics and second one is microeconomics. But before understanding the meaning and different concepts of microeconomics, we have to understand very basic terms and concepts of economics that we will study in our unit 1. So, moving to the next concepts, that is points to be covered in our economics, that today we will study are what is an economy, vital processes of an economy, why we study economics, scarcity, economic problem and its reasons, what is economics, and positive and normative economics. These points are the basic terms of your economics subject which will help you in the entire study of economics. So, let's start with the topic of what is an economy. Students, as we have seen in the society, a society consists of people, and the people living in the society, they need so many goods and services in their daily life, just like we can say food, clothing, shelter, transport, and different transport facilities like roads, railways, and various things. So, students, we can say from where these needs are being satisfied, how they are satisfying their needs. For example, the teacher teaching in the school, she or he has the skills to impart education to the students. He can earn money by teaching students in the school and also use their skills and also use the money that they have earned by teaching students to satisfy their needs and wants. It means I am trying to explain you that in our daily life, we have seen that each and every person in the society is doing or performing some activities to fulfill their satisfaction, to fulfill their needs and wants of the life. Someone is doctor, a teacher, a person is having a business, a person is doing some job. Why they are performing these activities? Just to satisfy their needs and wants. So we can say the economy is a system in which people earn their living to satisfy their needs and wants through the process of production, consumption, investment, and exchange. These four terms are new for you. What is production? We can say converting the raw material into finished goods is known as production. Consumption means using any particular goods or taking any service to satisfy our wants. Investment refers to investing the extra money that you have earned in some business or in some project with the aim of earning more money. And exchange refers to buying and selling of goods for the satisfaction of our wants. So economy is that place, or it is a system by living in which, by living in that area, all the peoples of the society use to satisfy their needs and they earn for their living. As we can say, if I am living in India and I am also earning in India and also consuming and also spending my all incomes and all earnings to satisfy my needs in India, so I will be able to say that my economy is an Indian economy, because India is a place where I am earning the money, and at the same place I am also consuming all the goods and services for the satisfaction of my want. So, with the help of this definition, coming to the next topic, that is vital processes of an economy. What are the different processes in an economy are? First one is production, second is consumption, third is investment. As I have told you that economy is a system which provides living to the people. By living in that area, a people is able to earn for their living or for the satisfaction of their wants. But for this objective to be fulfilled, it is necessary that every economy should undertake these three economic activities. Which economic activities? Production. Production, as I have told you, conversion of raw material into finished goods. Consumption, using such goods which have been produced by the producers for the satisfaction of our wants. And investment refers to that part of money, the process of investing that part of money which have been saved by consuming the goods and services. For example, that a person have produced some goods of worth rupees 10 lakh. By selling that 10 lakh, he have earned 15 lakh rupees. Then that 15 lakh, out of that 15 lakh rupees, he have consumed 10 lakh rupees. Consumed means he have spent such amount on the fees of their children, on their daily uses, for electricity bills, for buying food items, different needs, on the different needs. And by spending, by fulfilling all the needs, that person is able to save 5 lakh rupees. Then 5 lakh, what he will do? The manufacturer or the producer, what will he do with that 5 lakh rupees? He will invest that 5 lakh rupees in some other project so that he will be able to earn more and more profit from that. So in an economy, to fulfill the objective of satisfaction of want, a person have to perform these three activities. Now, there are three types of economy. First one is market, or we can say capitalist or free economy. Second is planned, and third is mixed economy. Students, what is market economy? Another name of market economy is free economy. Free refers to that economy or that system or an area where all the decisions regarding what is to be produced in the country, or what we are going to distribute in our country, all the decisions are taken by the private sector only. As we know, in a country there are two sectors, okay? Private sector and public sector. What is private sector? In which all the private individuals handles all the decisions. Private individuals means who are the individuals who are not working under the supervision or guidance of government. But public sector refers to that sector which is owned and controlled by the government. So the economy in which all the decisions means country में जो resources हैं. In 10th class you have also studied in social science what is resources. All the things that satisfy our needs is known as resource. So जितने भी resources हैं, how we are going to use such resource? उन resources से जैसे land, labor, capital and different entrepreneur, हम इन resources को किस तरीके से use करने वाले हैं और इन resources को से क्या produce करने वाले हैं और किसके लिए produce करने वाले हैं. It means what are the different decisions to be taken in the economy regarding the use of resources is to be taken by the private sector only on the basis of demand and supply. क्या बनेगा, किसके लिए बनेगा, रिसोर्सेज को किस तरीके से यूज करना है, कितना यूज करना है, वो डिसीजन कौन लेता है? It is taken by the market. Market here refers to the private sector on the basis of demand and supply. On the basis of demand, we will use the resources for such product which is in more demand. Okay. Second is planned economy, or we can say centrally planned economy. Centrally here refers to the government of central government, state government. It means all the decisions regarding what to produce, how to use the resources, all the decisions are taken by the government in a very planned way. It means everything, as we have seen in India also, that there is a rationing system in which it is that system in which the ration which includes rice, wheat, kerosene oil, all things are distributed to the poor people through ration shops. That system is known as rationing system. So it is under the government. Every decision regarding the production and consumption, every decision in this type of economies are taken by the government itself. There is no role of private sector. Coming to the third economy, that is mixed economy. Mixed here refers to the combination of market economy plus planned economy. It means some resources are owned and controlled by the government. Some decisions are in the hands of the government, and some decisions are also taken by the private sector. It means in combination, private plus public sector, both of them, they used to take the decisions to control the economy. Is it clear to you? I would like to give an example that India is also a mixed economy. We can say that mixed economy means the main objective of profit maximization is under private sector and social welfare is for government sector. As we know that free economy is under the private sector, so each and every decision in this economy is taken with the motive of profit maximization only. As we know, private sector always performs the activity just to maximize their profit. In planned economy, the objective of this economy is to increase social welfare. But in third economy, that is mixed, the both objectives are there. With the private sector, they have the profit maximization objective, and in planned economy, they have what? Social welfare. So we can say mixed economy is the combination of market as well as planned, in which few decisions are in the control of private sector and few are in government sector also. Now students, I will tell you that why we are studying economics. There is a reason to study each and every subject. As we can say that every field of study has its own language. We can say mathematics. In mathematics, we study about algebra, arithmetic, trigonometry, everything in every level. At every level of mathematics, you will study this. In accountancy, you will study profit and loss and everything. But in economics, why we are studying economics? What is the reason? The reason for study of economics is scarcity. It is also a new term for you. So what is scarcity? Scarcity means shortage of resources in relation to their demand. Scarcity means if there is a shortage of anything, simply in general term, we can say that scarcity is that in which something is less in supply as compared to demand. So in economics, scarcity here refers to the shortage of resources. Resources, I have told you, land, labor, capital, or money, we can say. If these resources are in shortage as compared to their demand, that condition is known as scarcity. And I would like to tell you that in our economics, there is scarcity of resources. In our economy or in every economy in the world, there is a scarcity of resources. Why we are saying, why I'm saying again and again that there is scarcity of resources. So the reasons of scarcity of resources, before I would like to tell you that there is another concept, that is economic problem. What is economic problem? It is a problem of choice involving satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources having alternative uses. As we know students that in our daily life we can see that if we are taking the example of money, okay, so money is not as per the demand with any person. Even a billionaire will also not say that I am having so much money and I don't want to earn money anymore. Each and every person is in need of money. So money is also a resource. So we have to make a choice that where should I spend my money, as money can be used to buy the clothes, to pay children's fees. Okay, हम ये बोल सकते हैं कि जो भी हमारा रिसोर्स है, चाहे वो एक लैंड ही क्यों नहीं है. I would like to take the example of a land. Okay, so we can say land as a resource can be used for constructing a house, a factory, a school, a park. It can be also used for growing wheat, rice, vegetables, etc. So the economic problem, what is the problem here? What is the problem here? Why we are discussing about the problem? Problem here refers to the problem of choice. We have to make a choice that why or how, we can say how we are going to use my resource so that I can satisfy my want. So in every economy there is an economic problem, and economic problem means involving satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources, because resources are limited but human wants are unlimited. Everyone wants to satisfy their wants. One want, one satisfaction of want give rise to another want. Okay, and why we are having such problem? Because what are the reasons of economic problem? Now here again comes scarcity of resources. I have told you that resources are less in supply as compared to their demand. That's why we have to make a choice that how we are going to use such resource. For example, you are having 10 rupees, so your demands are so much. I need to buy a pen also, a chocolate also, children wants to buy a car also, of toy car also in 10 rupees. So he has so many wants, but resources is scarce, only 10 rupees is there. So he have to make a choice, and this choice making process is known as a problem of choice, which gives rise to the economic problem. So why we are having economic problem? First one is scarcity of resources. अगर resources कम नहीं हो तो economic problem भी नहीं होगी. क्यों नहीं होगी? क्योंकि हमें problem of choice भी face नहीं करना पड़ेगा. We can spend how much money we are able to spend. Second reason of economic problem is unlimited wants. Human beings are having so many wants. Okay. Third one is they are having so many wants, but they are having limited resources, and these limited resources have alternative uses. Alternative uses means, as I have told you, a piece of land can be used to construct a building, to grow the crops, to open a factory, or to construct a park or a road. Okay. So these resources, we have to make a choice that how we are going to use such resource. If we don't have, if the resources don't have unlimited uses, and if the human beings wants are not unlimited, and we don't have the scarcity of resource, so there is no economic problem. Why there is economic problem? Because there is scarcity. अगर हम आपसे ये कहें कि स्टूडेंट के पास एक चाइल्ड के पास अगर 10 रुपीज है, लेकिन उस 10 रुपीज में सिर्फ एक ही चीज आ सकती है, दैट इज अ पेन. So he don't need to make any choice, but that 10 rupees can be used to buy a pen, a toffee, a chocolate, many things, because alternative uses. So these three are the reasons of economic problem, and just because of these economic problem, we need to study economics. Let me tell you, I hope that the meaning, that the reason of economics is clear to you. Why we are studying economics? Just because of these economic problems. Every person living in the world is facing such economic problem. Okay. And these economic problems are rising due to these three reasons, that is scarcity, unlimited wants, and alternative uses. So to study these economic problems, we are studying economics. So what is the origin? How does this word of economics originated? Let me tell you. The term economics in English language has its origin in two Greek words. Students, economics is the combination of two words. It has its origin from two Greek words, oikos plus nimin. Oikos in English means household. Nimin means management. Okay. So together, if we combine these words, it makes a sense, household management. It means that economics refers to the management of household things. So, but as we know that in today's modern era, everything is being modern day by day. Our needs are also increasing day by day. In the earlier times, we can say that people were not having so much needs. two piece of clothes, a small house, or two times food was very much sufficient for them. But as the in modern era, the needs of the peoples are also increasing day by day. So the scope of economics is also increasing. So how we can study economics? Here, the meaning of economics is in front of you. Economics is a social science which studies. Why we are saying that economics is a social science? In class 10th, you have also studied social science, and we were having history, geography, and political science, and economics also as a part of that. So why we call economics as a social science? Because it is the study of human behavior. Everything that I have discussed here, everything I have related to the human beings. Human beings faces the economic problem. So that's why economics is a social science which studies the way of society chooses to use its limited resources which have alternative uses to produce goods and services and to distribute them among different groups of people. It means in economics we will study that how the human beings will choose, or how they uses the unlimited, how they uses the limited resources which have alternative uses so that they can satisfy their needs. Or here is another definition of economics. Economics is the study of the problem of choice arising out of scarcity of resources having alternative uses. It means in economics we are going to study about the problem of choice. Why this problem of choice is arising? Because of the scarcity of resources, and resources have alternative uses. If there is no scarcity of resources, there is no need to study economics. So in economics we will study that how the different peoples uses the limited resources to satisfy their needs and wants for the purpose of production, consumption, and distribution. Okay, here I would like to tell you that the father of modern economics, with this do not be confused that economics was also studied in the earlier times, known as which we also known as Arthashastra, but there is a modern economics, and the father of modern economics, we will say the father of modern economics is Adam Smith. He has written a book, and the name of such book is An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nature, published, and this book was published in the year 1776. In 1776 he used to write a book, and he was taking an inquiry into the nature and causes of wealth, that how people are using their income and satisfying their wants. In such book he have given a detailed study for economics, and from that time we call Adam Smith as a father of modern economics. So students, I hope that all the concepts that we have discussed in this PPT have been clear to you. Let me tell you again, what is an economy? It is an area, or it is a system which helps the people, or which provides the people a living. Okay, by living in such system, people used to earn for their living so that they can satisfy their wants. What are the vital processes of an economy? What the peoples used to do to satisfy their wants? They perform the activities of production, consumption, and investment. Why we study economics? Because we have to face the economic problem. What are the reasons of economic problem? That resources are scarce, resources have alternative uses, and human wants are unlimited. So we will study that in economics. We will study what are the different economic problems and how people uses such limited resources to satisfy their unlimited wants. Now, coming to the last topic of this video, that is positive and normative economics. In economics, we will study positive and normative economics. What is positive economics? It deals with things as they are. As we can say, positive statements in economics deals with the statement that about a problem, that what was, what is, or what will be. In this sense, we can say what was the problem, what is the problem that we are facing in the economy and what will be the problem that we are going to face in the coming future. Or we can say, I would like to give an example here, that in India, this example that I'm going to give is, India is the second largest populous country in the world. Okay, as we know. So India is the second largest means it is the positive statement and it is defining that what is, or we can say that India was a very low populated country, was a very populated country. So it means what was. Or we can say that in the coming years, in 4-5 years, India will be the largest populated country in the world. So what will be? So the statements which will study what was, what is, and what will be is the part of positive economics. And what is normative economics? What ought to be. It means the economics which is going to give an opinion or a suggestion to solve a particular problem. That is known as normative economics. For example, in China, they have decided one child policy, that only one child policy will be there to decrease the population. So if we are studying about the solution of a particular problem, that is known as normative. But if we are studying the problem, that what was, what is, and what will be, such statement will be the part of positive economics. Another example I would like to tell you that that smoking is very injurious to health. Okay, so smoking is very injurious to health. It is just a statement that what is the problem. Okay, it is a part of positive economics, but to reduce such risk, government should ban cigarettes in a country. So it is a solution to a problem. So that is a part of normative economics. So students, with this I am giving a pause to my video. In the next video, we will start the meaning and different concepts of microeconomics and different concepts of this chapter. Thank you.